Hi everyone! In today's video, I'm going to show you 3 ways how to look up properties. And this is something I do every day when I research properties for tax sales or for personal reasons, or I look at my own properties. You can do that yourself. And it's basically 3 ways on how to do that. And before I get to the actual meat of this video, let me just tell you to make sure to subscribe to my channel right here. Also, check me out on social media. Just look up my name, Julia M. Spencer. Check me out on Facebook, Instagram, and all the other channels. And also check out my radio show, which is on once a week on Wednesdays at noon. And all the information is also at the bottom of this video. So let's talk about the 3 ways that I look up properties.
One of the ways is to look up property cards. One very important thing to note is that property cards are not the same as property records. A lot of people get this confused, and actually I had this problem I ran into yesterday. I've been trying to list a property in a county where I own it, and I told basically the real estate agents to go look at the property records to look at the actual owner. And it's a property I haven't owned for very long, so the property records haven't translated to the property cards yet, which in some counties might be a different department. And even though they have it recorded and I already called them and everything is fine, just the property cards haven't been updated yet with the new owner. So as I'm trying to sell this property, the realtor says, well, you don't own it. And I'm like, well, did you look at the property records? And she's like, yeah, I'm looking at it right now. But she was looking actually at the property cards. So 2 different things. Let me just show you the difference. I'm going to use this specific property that we've been talking about anyways, because that's a very good example. This one, for example, is located in Bibb County. And this is in the middle of Georgia. Macon, Georgia is the city. And we're looking at property cards first. This is the first way of how to look up a property. And a lot of times the counties and the government offices even get this confused. They say property records when they actually mean property cards. Not the same thing. So let's go there. So I basically, as you can see, I did a search, Bibb County property card. And the very first result that pops up, it says property record cards. It takes me to this new website. It's a subcontractor of this particular county, and they're basically responsible for managing those records for that county. A lot of times there's a subcontractor hired by the county to do this paperwork and to manage the records. Smaller counties may not even have it digitized yet. In those cases, you would have to go to the courthouse yourself. Back in the old days, a property record card was just that. It was a physical card with all the information about that property. And they would have a property card for basically every property that is taxed in that particular municipality or county or city, however it's managed there. So let's talk about, and I selected Hawaii. I meant to select Georgia actually. And let's talk at Bibb County. And let's look at, it says search records, but what we're actually looking for are property cards. So here is a website that pops up, and it's for this particular county. In this case, we're going to look it up by address. And you can also look it up by owner, obviously, and also your PIN number. So this is basically what the realtor yesterday did that was trying to list this property for me. She typed in the address and it came up as owner being Macon-Bibb County Land Bank. And obviously that's who I bought the property from, but it's not updated yet on this property card. And property cards will likely all look more or less the same for most of the places you'll be searching. And again, if you're looking to find information about your particular county and state municipality, just leave me a comment at the bottom of this video and I'll make another video with your area. just tell me kind of like where the property actually is so I can research that and make a video about it. But anyways, we're back here in Georgia, so a property card will generally have the same information. It's not always going to look like this because sometimes they use different software with different contractors. So there's usually a picture, there's the address, parcel number. You'll have information about the owner, land type, what kind of square footage the actual lot has, and how big it is. In this case, 0.18 acres. And then it has basically some general information when it was built, what kind of walls it has, how much heated space it has, and the condition, and also some of the sales information, which obviously hasn't been updated yet. And usually it also has value information, how much the property is actually worth, and previous year's values, and the sketches. And so here is some of the information basically on this property, and it's going to be pretty much the same in most places. So this is the property card, the most basic place, the first place I go to get information about a property. Now let's go to actual property records, because this is separate. This right here is the general demographic information basically about the property. But we want to actually look at the deeds, at the actual property records. And another way to search up properties is through property records. Now, property records are separate from property cards. They're not the same thing. While as the cards just basically have some basic information about anything and everything related to the property's characteristics, the property records should be more of a legal nature. So, for example, warranty deeds, quitclaim deeds, mortgages, transfer documents, things like that would be in the property records. Now, a lot of times people confuse property cards with property records, while as what property cards actually are a subset of property records. And they are sometimes in different places, sometimes they're linked together in some of the websites. So if you give me some information about what property you're trying to research, I can look up in that particular municipality, state, county, city, where you would find that in your area. This is just an example. We're using the exact same property and we're going to find a property record for that particular property now. So let's go to Bibb County Deeds, or deed records. And I've been here earlier, so I know that it's this one right here that we need to go to. And in this case, they will let you look at the superficial information about the property records. However, they won't actually let you see the records until you sign in. So I do have a password, and it's free to get. This login and password actually. So we're going to log in with that. Back in the day, what they used to do is they would actually ask you to subscribe to their search, and it would cost a certain amount of money per month. And they were doing this basically to recoup their costs for digitizing this information. But a lot of times back in the day, there used to be a lot of this information located on the deeds that was sensitive, for example, social security numbers and things like that. And they didn't want to just digitize this for the whole world to see. So they wanted to kind of keep track who's looking at what. I don't think they're putting that information anymore on those records. So you can actually go in from anywhere in the world as long as you register. And we're looking, for example, very specifically at land records. And we're looking at the most recent stuff from 1950 onward. Everything prior, I think you can search for it there as well. However, that's a little bit too old and I don't need that far back. So let's go to, and maybe you want to do some research about history and stuff, so that might be interesting. And you can apparently also look up at civil and criminal documents. So let's look at land records. And I know for a fact this property is in my company's name. And if you don't have that, you can also search for it with the name that is previously given on that property card from the previous owner. You should be able to find it there as well. So as you can see, this one at the yellow, because I was there earlier already on this website, you can see that's the property we're talking about, 626 Shy Place, in the name of my company, and this is who I bought it from, and it's a warranty deed. So let's look at this particular book and page number. Now at the courthouse itself, there's actually rooms and rooms of books with numbers and pages, and so you can actually go and look at the actual original document or a copy of the original document. The original is usually sent to the owner, so you can actually go look at that. So here's that, and we actually want to look at the actual document itself. So I clicked on the 3 pages. Here are the 3 pages for this particular warranty deed. And as you can see, this is when it was recorded. It's says it's unofficial because it's a copy. So in order to get the official copy, you would have to go to the courthouse apparently, or you have to pay them to print you out an official copy. Of course, everybody makes money in the United States with this. So here is the description, the tax map parcel ID, and also it has information about that it's been signed over to me and with the appropriate signatures. And here you see also the PT61 form, which is basically a tax liability transfer form that is used in the state of Georgia, and that basically just transfers the property's tax obligation from the seller to the new owner, which is myself, and the date of the sale. So you can see all of that information there is properly filed. So then, of course, that is what helps Bibb County send me the tax bill from this point onward. And I did make a video about the PT61 form. You can look at my YouTube channel and find out about that, what that means. So that is the second way of how to look up properties. And of course, I only clicked on one right here because I only have one record for this particular property, but you can see I bought other properties before under my business's name in this county. So you can, kind of search up on yourself or others. This is all public records. You're allowed to see this. And do some research if you'd like. Now, let's talk about a third way of how we're going to search up properties. This is something that I use when I look at properties that have no improvement on them. So there's no specific lines that I can see by going there. Okay, this is where my property ends and the other one begins. There's no fence or anything like that. And this is very useful for unbuilt lots, unimproved lots, or wooded pieces of land or something like that, where the dimensions are not clearly visible by looking at it. And this is done through the GIS Map. Most municipalities and counties in states have these GIS maps. And what you would basically just type in GIS Map, Bibb County. And GIS basically stands for Geographic Information System. And in this particular case, it's another subcontractor that's managing this website for this particular county. As you can see that by the .com extension. Usually government websites have a .gov extension or a .org extension. So in any case, here is my property. You can see that it's right there and it has a house on it. And you can basically look over, yearly sales, address number, zoning. Zoning, I believe it'll be R2 for this whole entire area. And I don't know if that even shows anything. Flood maps, lakes, and things like that. I haven't seen anything. But here's one very important thing. Usually this is shown, but it wasn't shown on this particular map. But if you go up here is dimension measure, and so you can click and find out the dimensions of this property. So this property is about 50 feet by looks like 157 feet. So you can basically see how long this property is and how big it is, and kind of measure it and see what you can and can't do with it. And this is something that you can then go back to the government offices and ask, okay, my lot's this size, it's zoned as this, what can I do with this? It looks like in this particular area, the zoning is that you can't really build a property that has that is directly at the side of the road. It has to be set back a little bit, and you can measure how far back it has to be set back, because it looks like everybody is about the same-ish on this. So if you can measure it, the house starts right here, so it has to be like 27 feet back. But all of those things you can basically discuss with the zoning and the appropriate authorities in that county. And this is very good information to see where a lot is located, whether it's landlocked. I've seen that where there's no access to a road on either side. In this case, obviously, we have a road. You can also kind of see if there's any, there looks like a big field behind here. You can look for railroad tracks, look for lakes or anything else that could be encumbering your property. This is very good information to research when you're looking to purchase at a tax sale sight unseen. It's part of your due diligence, and I would definitely encourage you to do that. So here we have it. This is the end of my video. A lot of ways of how you can research a property. And just to summarize, beginning, we always look at the property cards, then we look at the property records, and lastly, we look at the land records. So I hope this was helpful. If it was, please subscribe at the bottom of my video right there, and share this video with others if you find it useful. And for sure, make sure you also subscribe right here at this channel so you can be notified when I put out new videos. And also, please leave me comments, suggestions, good, bad, ugly. I respond to all of them, and I look forward to hear from you. And if you want to send me a private message, juliamspencer.com is my website. There's a contact form, or you can email me at realestate@juliamspencer.com. And by the way, do not forget to go to my website, juliamspencer.com, and subscribe to my newsletter for a free guide to real estate investing. Thank you, and have a good day.
For your free guide to real estate investing, visit juliamspencer.com.